Welcome to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast, a space where we break free from tradition, creating a wedding day totally authentic to you and your love story. I'm Abby, UK wedding planner and owner of Elegance Unlimited, here to help you plan a wedding day that feels uniquely yours. Join me for planning tips and advice, endless inspiration, and a pocket full of calm within the chaos that is wedding planning. Consider me a trusted friend, here to walk you through it all. From injecting fun splashes of personality into your day, to reinventing tradition completely, all whilst focused on building a day bespoke to your dreams and desires. I cannot wait to get started, so let's get planning. Welcome back to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on episode 21. Very exciting. If you are new here, my name is Abby. I am a wedding planner. I run a business called Elegance Unlimited, where I help couples plan weddings that feel like them, that feel personal, that have got all the bespoke elements, that just feel like it was completely made for them from scratch. What a dreamy day. That's what I do. And this podcast is an extension of that. It's a space for me to share wedding tips, wedding inspiration, all the advice, all the inspo, and I love doing it so much. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are new, if you are returning, I am eternally grateful. Little quick side note whilst I remember, because I always usually forget, if you are enjoying the podcast, I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a quick review. I know everyone says that, but it does apparently help. And it's always really nice to see people giving us 5 stars. I only accept 5-star reviews, actually. I won't accept anything less. So if it's that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I don't need, oh, it was great, but room for improvements. No room for improvements. I just want 5-star reviews. Just glowing reviews would be great, please. I'm kidding, obviously, but it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review. It does help. It gets me more exposure. It gets me out there to help more couples looking to plan their weddings, looking for wedding planning advice, wedding tips, all of the above. It does help. And it gives me a little bit of an ego boost as well. So, win-win. But that's my little tangent to start off the episode. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to be back. This week, we are talking about kind of like a personal opinions episode. That's what we're going through today. You might have seen by the title, you might have read it already, you might have just been listening and it's just come on to the next one and you've got no idea what we're about to talk about. Who knows? But this week, I will tell you, we are going to be talking about wedding traditions that I would ditch personally. And we'll talk a little bit about what I might replace it with or what I might do instead as well. But I thought it'd be quite fun, because we talk a lot on this podcast about wedding traditions, making your day feel like yours, how to personalize it, how to change up the usual, how to change up the norm, how to do things a bit differently if you want to. So I thought it would be quite fun for me to do a little bit of a personal opinions episode. And if you agree with it, you do. If you don't, again, it's no biggie. These are my personal opinions. I would not judge anyone for doing any of these. It's your choice. It's just the way I feel about it. Everyone's got their own opinion. So there will be no nastiness or no comments or no negativity. I remember when I shared that, the video that kind of sent my podcast into a bit of a viral exposure type thing, where I was talking about cutting wedding cake earlier in the day, and there were a few people on the comments of that were like, I don't like this. This is not good. You shouldn't be eating cake before dinner and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, this is not the place for that. Like, this is an each to their own. If you want to do it, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's a take what serves and leave what doesn't kind of space. So that is why I will say to start off, but I just thought it'd be fun. Okay, if you don't think it's gonna be fun, you don't have to listen. You can just skip to the next episode or listen to one of the old ones again. No big deal. But yeah, shall we get straight on into it? Wedding traditions, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I mean, we've talked about, in a few episodes recently, the whole concept of the wedding tradition and the wedding rules, right? And the fact that they've just been made one day and eventually over time, more and more people start doing them and then they become the norm. In 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years' time, there will be a whole completely different set of wedding traditions that people will be like, you can't do different than this. And they'll look back to today and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that people used to do that at wedding days, right? So I think it's really important to remember that, because when you talk about wedding traditions, people can get quite possessive, quite protective over that. Like, this is a tradition and you can't touch tradition. You're in the wrong place if you feel that way. You're on the wrong podcast. You want to go find something else that's a bit more traditional, a bit more formal, a bit more structured. Fine, but this is not the space for you. Okay, we're here to throw things up in the air a little bit. I'm here to stir the pot. We're here to reinvent tradition, reinvent the rules, do things your own way. My view is always that this is your wedding day, and you get to do it the way you want to. It's no one else's to make that decision or judgment for you. So, as I've said already, these are my personal opinions. These are traditions that maybe I don't like, or maybe I change, or maybe just don't feel right for me. If I was planning my wedding day, you do not have to agree with them. That's perfectly fine. A quick reminder about why it's okay to break tradition and break free from the norm. I've just mentioned about, somebody made a tradition one day. We've all kind of stuck with it. It's your wedding day at the end of the day. The ultimate underlying theme here is that it's your day and you get to make a decision that serves you. So if it doesn't feel like you, if there's a tradition, if there's a part of the wedding day that you're like, oh, I just don't really like this, or I'm not excited about that, or it doesn't feel right, get rid. Change it, make it so that you are excited about it, because ultimately the amount of pressure and the amount of emotion and time and energy and money and all the things that go into a wedding day, and you're going to just be chucking things in there that don't feel right for you just for the sake of it. Really? No, 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 we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to make it a day that feels really exciting for us. We're going to make it a day that every single element in there is intentional. It's purposeful. It's there for a reason. We're not just doing it because Nana Sue said, oh, that's what you do. And you went, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, we'll do that. If you want to, fine. But if you don't, if you've got that little niggling feeling in the back of your mind that's like, I'm just really not excited about that, dig into that, listen to that voice. Let's get rid of it, change it up, switch it up. It's perfectly okay. Another reminder that you will upset someone along the wedding planning process. It could be for something really tiny and minuscule that's not really a big deal. It could be something that somebody gets really upset about that you kind of have to navigate through that process. Weddings bring up crazy feelings for people. I say it a lot. At the end of the day, you and your partner, your feelings, the way you feel about the process is the only thing that matters. So that's what we're focusing on, okay? Tangent over. I've always got to do a little mini spiel before we get into things, before we get really stuck in, but that's how I feel. Your wedding day should be a day for you. So if a wedding tradition doesn't serve you, we remove it. But let's talk about a few that maybe I'm not so keen on, or that have never really stuck out for me, or that I've never really understood, or that if I was planning a wedding right now, I would probably get rid of or change. The first tradition that I would get rid of is the bouquet toss. It's not for me. I think that we spend far too much money on a wedding bouquet to just be throwing it around all over the place. It's expensive. Why are we throwing it? Why are we not taking care of our belongings? It doesn't, I've never understood it. And I don't know, there's something about it that's just always made me feel a bit like, oh, I don't like that. Maybe there's a part of me that thinks maybe I've seen too many videos of people like fighting over it. When people fight over it and they've like torn it apart trying to fight over it so that they get to be the person holding the bouquet. Ick. Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm not having anybody fight and cause a scene and make a big parade of themselves on my wedding day. No, we're not doing that. We're grown adults. It's not for me. If it's for you and you think that's funny and you love it, like there will be someone out there that's like, oh, I think that's hilarious. Great, crack on. It's not the vibe for my day. I can tell you that much for free. There's just something about it. Don't vibe with it. And the connotation of it of like, oh, whoever catches it is the next person to get married. And you've seen videos where the partner's like, oh my God, they might be like a +1 at a wedding day and they're not even that like invested in the relationship yet. They might be brand new and they're like, oh, I've caught the bouquet. It's your turn to propose next. And this guy is like, huh? Excuse me. It's a lot. I wouldn't want to put myself through that on the wedding day. I wouldn't want to put my guests through that on the wedding day. It's just not a tradition that I can see myself doing. And that's perfectly fine. Whatever you want to do. There are ways to switch it up. And I think if I could find a way that felt right for me to include in my day, I would probably do that. I like the idea of, I've seen people hand their bouquet over to like their mother as to be like, thank you so much for helping plan the day. This bouquet like is in honor of you. It belongs to you now. I love that idea. I think that's really sweet. I've seen people take apart their wedding bouquet and kind of hand flowers out to all the important women in their lives as like a thank you for being by my side. I think that's lovely. Oh my God, so many different ways to repurpose it. You can preserve it. I think that's I think, do you know what? I think if I was going to spend all that money on a bouquet, I'd want to keep it. You know, whether I took it home and just like let it live out the rest of its days until it was too dry and dead for me to keep, or whether I got it professionally dried, like so that I could keep it forever. Maybe I love the ones where they cast it in like resin and they turn it into like paperweights or picture frames, or what's the other one I saw? They turned it into like a coffee table and it was stunning. It was so, so nice. I like that idea. I think if we're going to repurpose it, that's quite a nice way to keep it forever. But for me, it wouldn't have to be just the bouquet flowers. I'd be like, whatever's looking healthiest and still alive, take those, do what you want with it. Absolutely fine. But yeah, I think there are other ways for me that I would prefer to repurpose. I'd be interested actually to know what you think. I do think it's maybe a tradition that is phasing its way out, that's maybe not as prevalent, that's maybe not being used as often. But I mean, I did a wedding last year where the groom did like a whiskey toss, and he took out the bottle of whiskey. Actually, he was like, I don't want to be throwing a bottle of whiskey around because that'd be quite heavy. He said, but it was like, you know, the whiskey where it comes in like a box or like a tube. So he'd taken the whiskey out, put some tennis balls in it to give it a bit of weight to throw. And he did like a whiskey toss, turned around, threw it, and then whoever caught it got to take the bottle of whiskey home. And I thought, lovely. Love that idea. I actually do really like that idea. And I don't know why I like that idea more than the bouquet idea, because it's essentially the same thing, isn't it? I guess because it might be the connotation of like whoever catches the whiskey, they just get to take a bottle of whiskey home. There's no like, whoa, gotta go propose to your missus now. It is just chill. It's just like a nice little token of something to do with your nearest and dearest male or female people in your family or friends. And it does make for good pictures. That's the one thing it does do, is it's a cute picture, if anything else. So yeah, options for that, but it's not my favorite. The bouquet toss also got me thinking about the garter removal, which is like my biggest absolutely not. Absolutely not. I haven't seen anyone do this at weddings I've been to. I don't know if it's as common today, if it's just if maybe it's more US based. I feel like, is that a thing? Is it USA that does that more, where they like get the man to remove the garter? And then I've just seen so many horrible videos of men like removing garters with their teeth in front of like their family, like their nan sitting there and their mum, and I just, oh, there's like kids watching from the sidelines. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's just not my vibes. Not my vibes, not my kind of day, and that's perfectly fine. That would be, yeah, I wouldn't even consider that for my wedding day. I can't think of anything worse. There's certain types of attention that I want on my wedding day, and that is not one of them. I think, and I think that's all I have to say about it. I don't think I'd replace it with anything. No, no thanks. Another wedding tradition I would ditch would be the receiving line. Again, it's not something I see done super often now, but it's more of a traditional wedding thing where you will finish your ceremony, everybody stands in a line, and then you work your way through as a couple. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So nice to see you. Thank you for coming. No, my wedding day is so precious. My time on my wedding day is so precious. It wastes so much time. So it takes so much time to work your way through. If you've got 100 guests, it takes so long, because you'll always get someone as well that is not okay with you being like, hi, thanks for coming, move along. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I was talking to so and so the other day, and oh, you look amazing, and they said they wish they could be here, and la la la. And you're like, okay, I'll speak to you later. I'm actually holding up the line. You know, there's always going to be a chatter that slows you down, and it's just not something I personally would bother putting into my timeline. I think there's other ways I'd rather connect with people on my day. It's not meaningful conversation for me. And for me, if it's not a meaningful conversation, I don't want to have it. I don't want small talk on my wedding day. Aside from the like, oh, you look amazing, congratulations, it was great, amazing. But I don't want that, oh, hi, yeah, I'll speak to you later. And then you do it again later. That's the thing. You're not just being like, hi, thanks so much for coming. You'll see them again later and be like, oh, hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming. No, if I'm going to do it later anyway, I don't need to do a receiving line. I totally get it. It might be like a cultural thing, and it might make sense for certain religions and certain traditional weddings, and some people love it. It's not for me. There's no good picture opportunities for me. It's a bit too forced. There's no candid picture opportunities. And so there's no kind of pros coming out of this for me. It's not something that I would be keen on. And that's okay. Instead, if I wanted to have that kind of, I'm talking to everyone, I would just be making a point to try and speak to everyone in my drinks reception or in the evening, wherever it might be. I might even just be addressing everyone in my speeches instead. Maybe I do a speech. Unpopular opinion. I don't think you need to prioritize speaking to everyone on your wedding day. Some people won't agree with that. Some people will be like, well, no, no, no. I've spent so much money on inviting these people and they've spent so much money on being here and I'm not even going to say hello to them. I get it. And that's not necessarily what I mean. You know, if I'm not going to say ignore everyone on your wedding day, that's not the vibe. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But what I'm saying is you don't have to stress yourself out thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, have I spoken to every single person? Because there might be a time where the day has just gone so quickly and you've done your best to work your way around the room and speak to everyone and say hi to everyone and get a picture and all those things. And some people just leave early. You might get your first dance out the way and you still have some people to work your way around and speak to, and they've left or something's happened. They've had to get home to the kids and you don't get to speak to them. And it's sad, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's not a deal breaker for me. If it's something that you really want to make a point of, I really need to speak to every single person on my wedding day, then yeah, maybe I would be allocating time to make sure I've spoken to everyone and at least said, hi, thank you so much for coming, you know? But there are other ways you can cross those T's and dot those I's, you know, when you're sending thank you cards or you're messaging them day after and saying, thank you so much for coming. It's so lovely to see you and all those things. You can still make people feel special in those ways. Just for me, a receiving line, there's other things I'd rather be doing. So it would not be something that I would want to do. But I would be interested to know if people still do them. Again, I would like to know, is it something that you're incorporating? Is it something that's important to you? What the kind of origination is, like the traditionally of that, like what the purpose is. I haven't done my history deep dive on this one yet, on receiving lines. I haven't. So I would be interested to know that. But yeah, it's not something that I would consider. This next one, I feel like I've mentioned before. I know I've definitely talked about it in an episode before, but plus ones. Absolutely not. Plus ones, no. And I know that this episode, by the way, is titled Wedding Traditions I Would Get Rid Of. I've kind of encompassed it under like wedding rules, wedding etiquette, wedding traditions as a whole, because for me, it's all of those things that I feel like there's pressure to do, pressure to include, pressure to, you know, answer to people for. So I know this isn't typically like a tradition. It's not traditional to invite plus ones by any means, but it's something that I feel like is a rule and expectation in certain ways, and it's a no from me. I don't want strangers at my wedding. I absolutely don't. It's a big no from me. There will be no plus ones at my wedding, and nobody is entitled to a plus one. Nobody gets one. You know, you could be saying to me, "Oh, I'm really worried about coming on my own. I don't want to. I'm going to sit on my own." Well, you won't be on your own because there's all my loved ones there, and they're all lovely people. That's why I'm friends with them, and that's why I love them. So everybody's going to talk to everyone. You know, I will make sure that people are sat with people that I think they'll get on with, but you don't get entitled to someone else that gets invited to my wedding just because you don't want to sit on your own or you want to bring your new boyfriend or your new girlfriend that you've been with for a few weeks. It's not happening. No, not for me. And it's each their own. Some people don't mind that. For me, I want to know that everybody who is at my wedding I've met multiple times. They know me, they know my partner, they know our story, they know about us, like they're invested in our relationship and it's not just a day out. You know, I mean, we mentioned this on the episode I did with Maisie from MRC Dance. And this was her thing at the end. I said, what tradition would you get rid of? And she kind of said, oh, plus ones don't do it for me. And I was like, yes. And then she was kind of going, oh, we were kind of talking back and forth. And it was like, oh, you know, but, you know, if you kind of know them a little bit. And I was like, yeah, but then they're not a plus one, they're a guest. If you know them in any capacity, then they're a guest and you're choosing to invite them as a guest. A plus one, in my opinion, is somebody that you don't know. It's like, oh, can your auntie bring one of her friends with her to the wedding? Can so and so bring this person? Can I find a date and bring them? No, absolutely not. Those are not the vibes. It's so important to remember as well that every guest costs so much. Every guest that you invite could cost you like £100 plus each for food and drinks and favors and, you know, the little things that you're paying for them. Like they cost you so much. For you, it's like it's just a free night out. You know, my wedding, although it will be the event of the year, it's not just a free night out for anyone that wants to turn up. Okay, it's an exclusive guest list. It's very important to remember that. I'd rather have an intimate day. That is what I would be swapping this out for. I would rather have people there that are intentional, that I want there, that love me, that love us, than just anyone turning up. I get it. Different reasons for different things. Sometimes people have like a minimum guest list they have to meet and they're like, "Oh, we only have 70 people. Should we say to our friends from work that they can bring their partners, their plus ones?" That might not bother you. Fine. It's totally up to each individual couple's preference, right? For me, all I would be thinking about all day is there's people here that I don't know. And now I feel like instead of feeling relaxed and comfortable and chilled with my family and friends, I'm now feeling like I'm on display and I'm being judged because this is these person's first impression of me. And I don't like that. That's not comfortable for me. So it would be a no for me. It's a concept that I've never understood. And I talk about a few times how I've like, you read those stories on Reddit or Facebook groups and people are like, "Oh, my bridesmaid is demanding a plus one and has asked if she can bring her boyfriend that she's only been dating for 2 weeks. What do I say? I don't really know him," and all that stuff. It's just ingrained in me this like, no, who do you think you are? Excuse me. It's my wedding day. Who do you think that you can just be inviting people to like it's just a house party on a random night or a barbecue at someone's house? "Oh, do you mind if I bring so and so?" That's fine because it's just a chilled Sunday barbecue. This is not a chilled Sunday barbecue. This is my wedding day. You are in these pictures forever. I'm spending a lot of money on my photographer. I'm spending a lot of money on my food. And I don't know you. So it's a no from me. I'm going to pass. But again, my opinions. I don't. There's no judgment for anyone that wants to invite plus ones. This is what it comes down to, isn't it? And people get funny about that. If I'm saying, "Oh, I don't want to do this," there will always be someone that's like, "Well, you should want to," and it's like, not really, because if you want to do it, excellent. I'm here for it. There's no judgment. I'm actually supporting you heavily. Great, good for you. I'm so glad that you're getting the day you want. But let's encourage more people getting the day they want, please. Let's encourage people just making decisions that serve them. Another tradition I would ditch is speeches only done by men. This is a tradition that is changing and has been changing for years. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, or the only weddings I see is only men doing speeches." I completely know that these days we see anyone and everyone doing speeches, but it's just a tradition that has been a tradition that I feel like is definitely not something that would be part of my wedding day. Traditionally speaking, it's the groom, the father of the bride, and the best man that do speeches. And where's the female representation? Okay. Where's that coming from? Even in like a two grooms wedding, you don't need to just have males doing the speeches. You could get the mother of the groom doing a speech. You could get a best woman doing a speech. Maybe your auntie wants to do a speech. For me, it would just be, who wants to say something nice about us? Who wants to say something? Who is feeling inclined to want to give a speech at our wedding? And let's talk about it. You know, if you've got loads of people offering up that they want to say something, you might have to whittle it down, but get the female representation in. It doesn't just, we're not just in a time where it just has to be men and the females just have to sit there like the women just sit there quietly now. We're not living in that time, are we? You best believe I'll be making a speech on my wedding day. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna be up there. I'm gonna have it ready. I'm gonna be there with my little microphone saying thank you to everyone. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll probably be a mess, a blubbering mess, not a drunken mess by that point. Each is fine. But yeah, I love when you see like mothers of the bride doing a speech, or maybe it's like the best friend, like their sister or the maid of honor, like they're doing a speech. And obviously you can still include the male speeches if you want to. But I think for me, it's something that I find really interesting, considering today, most of the time, it's the women doing the planning. When I speak to even couples that are working together, it's usually the woman that's taking the lead and they're doing a lot of the communicating and they're doing a lot of the planning, a lot of the organizing. For a woman that's going to do all the planning and then just sit there in silence and not say anything, get up there, give a little speech, even if it's just a 2-minute thank you so much for coming. Even if you're too emotional to cope with anything else, that's absolutely fine. But I don't get it. And sometimes you will have fathers of the bride or a best man or even the groom that cannot think of anything worse than speaking. Like, public speaking is not for them. It makes them so nervous and it's too stressful for them. They don't want to do it. I think that should be okay if they don't want to. Let's just find people who would like to speak so that we're not all sat there thinking, "Oh, they look uncomfortable and this is horrible and this is awkward." Find a way to make it work for you. For me, I love the idea of just anyone that wants to say anything, come on up here, you know? What about an all female lineup? Let's get that involved. Yeah, I just think whoever wants to say something should be able to say something. And finally, for this episode, because I don't want to inundate you with too many, is the white wedding dress. We've talked about the white wedding dress. I did a whole episode on it. The white wedding dress is a traditional thing, right? You wear white to your wedding day in today's society. I'm a big fan of switching it up. Switch it up. Wear something colourful. Wear something with patterns on it. Wear something with sparkles on it, or sequins, or feathers, or ruffles, like whatever floats your boat. Switch it up. Bright green, dark blue, black, silver. Oh my gosh, the options. There's so many options. I cannot say at this point whether I would go for a white wedding dress or something colourful. I don't think I will know until I'm in that process. I think it's hard to decide. I love a white wedding dress. There's just something that looks so good about it. And I totally get that it's probably been ingrained into my brain of like, oh, you wear white to a wedding, so that's why it looks good. But it feels very wedding-y, right? It feels wedding-y. But I think that we can absolutely just remove that pressure to wear white, because if you want to wear something different, do it. It doesn't have to, like, you can make it feel weddingy enough. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's this whole idea now that you have to wear white because otherwise you won't look like a bride, and you won't look weddingy enough if you're in green, or if you're in pink, or if you're in blue, or something else, or if you wear a suit instead of a dress. Like, it's not weddingy enough. You don't look like a bride. The whole concept of what a bride or groom needs to be today and what they're supposed to look like, I mean, it's out the window, isn't it? We can do what we want. There are no rules. Things are changing all the time, and you feel as bride like or as groom like as you decide you want to feel. You know, it's totally up to you. So I love the idea of changing it up. I don't think that everyone should be like, okay, I'm getting married. Tick, 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 tick. These are the things you do. Let's just cross them off the list. And I think if white doesn't vibe with you, my biggest concern would be spilling food down me. 100%. They are so hard to keep clean. That's part of the reason why they were seen as such a luxury, because people don't wear them often. People don't wear white often because it gets dirty and it's hard to clean. So it's seen as being very, oh, it's so fancy and expensive, and it's the wealth and the luxury and all of those things. If you're a green girly and you want to wear green, fine. The amount, like, I've seen people, I think, and I love it so much, where people have like gotten married in like a bright pink ball gown, and they've put their bridesmaids or their maid of honor or their wedding party in white, as like flipped the switch around. I love that, because you're still the center of attention. If that's what you're looking for, you're still the focus. People still know that you're the bride. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to wear pink to match all of everyone else. Like, you're still doing something that makes you contrast against everyone else. You know, people have said, please wear white to our wedding. Actively, please wear white, so that we can wear something else. We can wear black, or we can wear pink, or we can wear something else that makes us stand out. You know, it's just all about the way you want to plan it and the way you want to do it. So I just love the idea of wearing what you want on your wedding day. Wear something that makes you feel incredible. Wear something that makes you feel like the best version of yourself, because if you feel like that, it's going to show in your photos. It's going to show in the videos. It's going to show on your face and with all the people around you, and they're going to feed off that energy too. And that's how an incredible wedding day is made, through the vibes, through the good vibes and good times. So yeah, I ditched the white wedding dress. But you don't have to, because I also don't know if I would. It's an option. So there's a few of my personal opinions there. Just kind of quickly, I say quickly, I don't know how quick this has been. Quickly just run through some of my opinions there. And there are heaps more things that I would either be changing or getting rid of completely. But from the typical kind of standard, these are the main things I could think of when I thought wedding traditions. This is what I'd get rid of. So the question is, how do you decide what to keep or toss? If you are planning a wedding right now, you're working through that process and you're thinking, how do we do this? How do we decide what we want to do? What do we not want to do? You should be following your instinct to start off with. How does it make you feel? Does it excite you? If the idea of being walked down the aisle and being given away, does that excite you? Does it not feel right? Do you want to change it up? If the idea of wearing white doesn't excite you, change it up. Like, what feels right for you? I've said it at the start of this episode. I'll say it again. There are no rules. There is no pressure. There's no, like, you have to do this. Traditions and wedding rules, typically, and the etiquette of a wedding day, they're always going to be there, right? There's always going to be a code of conduct that people say, when you do a wedding, this is what you do. And that's going to change. In 10, 15 years' time, it will be different, but people will still follow it. People will still say, well, when you do a wedding, this is what you do. But there's no law. It's not like, oh, you're getting married. Well, by law, you have to wear a white wedding dress. Otherwise, we're locking her up, making arrests. That's not how it goes. There's a legal process to getting married if you want the legal marriage, but to have a wedding day, there's absolutely no rules. So take what serves you and leave what doesn't. And that's how you build a wedding day that feels unique to you, that feels personal, that feels incredible, that feels magic. And those are the feelings that we want to create on the wedding day. Those are the feelings that when you look back, you will get that feeling in your stomach, in your heart, where you're like, oh my God, that was just the best day. I wish I could relive it again and again. It really is as simple as that. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be scary. It's just a case of having a conversation with your partner and saying, what do you want to include and why? Talk about the why. I think sometimes, if you feel like, oh, I have to wear white on my wedding day, ask yourself why. Why do you feel like that? Is it because that's what being a bride means to you? Is it because you feel like you have to? There's a difference. And figuring out the difference is what's going to help you decide whether you want to include it or not. Some things will just be a gut instinct, like the garter toss or the garter removal, and you'll be like, no, thanks, not for me. No, thank you. Other things you'll be like, oh, do I want to wear white? Do I want to invite plus ones? Like, is that what we want to do? Do we want to be walked down the aisle, or do we want to walk down together? Like, why do I feel like I should be walked down the aisle? Why do I feel like we shouldn't be seeing each other beforehand? Like, why do I feel like we can't spend the morning together when actually we really, really want to? I think it's important to ask yourself those questions. So talk it through, think about it, and then make some decisions, make some compromises. You might feel differently about different traditions and need to find a way to include them in a way that feels good for both of you. But yeah, talk it through, see how you feel. I want to know, what wedding traditions are you getting rid of? What wedding traditions are you keeping? Do you agree with any of my opinions? Are you actually a big fan of all the ones that I've said today and you're going to be using all of them? I want to know. So let me know. You can leave a comment if you're listening on Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment there as well. You can come and find us in the Facebook group or on Instagram. You can send me a DM, however you want to get in touch. I would love to know. And your feedback is so, so helpful for me. So yeah, come and let me know. And if you liked this kind of episode where you just get my opinions and my inner mind ramblings, then let me know. I'll do some more. But in the meantime, thank you so, so much for listening. I'm super grateful for you always. I will be back next week with another episode. Until then, happy planning. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired and excited to create your dream wedding day and those lasting memories. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'll be back next Wednesday with more tips, advice, and inspiration. In the meantime, don't be a stranger. Come and find me on Instagram and TikTok at Your Wedding Unlimited, where I share even more wedding ideas and behind-the-scenes insights. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube at Your Wedding Unlimited. And if you're looking for even more support, come and join my private Facebook group, Your Wedding Unlimited. It's an amazing community of fun and authentic engaged couples, packed with extra tips, advice, and insights to guide you along your journey. If you have any questions or need more info, you can DM me or send me an email at yourweddingunlimitedpodcast@gmail.com. All links and details will be in the show notes. Until next time, happy planning!